In a world that celebrates busyness, have you ever stopped to wonder what it's costing you? Shockingly, the average person spends over 2 hours a day on their phone, often mindlessly scrolling through social media instead of engaging in creative thought. Even more startling is that a 2020 study found that 70% of workers feel burned out, leaving little room for fresh ideas and inspiration. But here's the kicker. Research shows that being busy doesn't equal being productive. In fact, multitasking can reduce productivity by a staggering 40%. This constant rush and endless to-do lists can smother your creativity, preventing you from thinking outside the box. It's time to break free from this cycle. In this video, we'll dive deep into why busyness kills creativity and explore simple yet powerful strategies to reclaim your creative spark. From embracing silence to understanding the art of boredom, we'll uncover practical tips to help you shift your mindset and unlock your full creative potential. Are you ready to discover how slowing down can actually fuel your imagination? Let's get started. Chapter 1. The myth of multitasking magic. Let's start by busting a big myth: multitasking. Everyone loves to claim they're great at it, right? But here's the truth. Multitasking kills creativity. Studies show that only 2.5% of people can multitask effectively. That means the rest of us? We're just switching between tasks, which leads to what's called attention residue. Think of it like this. Every time you switch between tasks, you leave a little bit of your attention behind. This fragmented focus makes it harder for your brain to dive deep into creative thinking. Harvard Business Review says multitasking can reduce productivity by up to 40%. Not only that, but it also makes your brain less likely to connect ideas, which is key to creativity. So, what's the solution? Single tasking. When you focus deeply on one thing at a time, you enter what's known as a flow state. This is where your best ideas and most creative work happen. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who coined the term flow, explains that it's in these moments that we're fully engaged and our creativity thrives. In other words, the magic isn't in doing more, it's in doing one thing well. If you're enjoying these insights, make sure to subscribe for more tips on boosting your creativity and productivity. Chapter 2. The silence strategy. It might sound strange, but silence is one of the most powerful tools for creativity. Think about it. When was the last time you just sat in silence? No phone, no music, no podcasts. In today's busy world, it's rare, right? But neuroscience proves that silence is golden when it comes to sparking creativity. In 2013, a study published in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience found that periods of silence help the brain regenerate cells in the hippocampus, the area associated with memory and imagination. This regeneration allows us to process ideas better and make unique connections. In other words, silence gives your brain room to think deeply. So, how can you harness this? Start by creating intentional pockets of silence in your day. Maybe it's 5 minutes before you start work, or perhaps it's during a walk. Steve Jobs was known for taking long, silent walks to generate his best ideas. You don't need hours of silence. Just a few minutes of stillness can have a massive impact on your creative potential. Chapter 3. The power of daydreaming. You've probably been told that daydreaming is a waste of time. But guess what? It's actually the opposite. Daydreaming is where creativity blooms. In fact, a study from the University of California, Santa Barbara, found that people who let their minds wander were more creative in problem-solving tasks by up to 41%. When you're constantly busy, you don't leave any space for your mind to wander. But when you allow yourself to daydream, whether it's while taking a shower, staring out a window, or even just sitting with your thoughts, you give your brain a chance to make new, unexpected connections. Einstein himself famously said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge," and his most groundbreaking ideas came to him during moments of daydreaming. So, how can you use this strategy? Schedule daydreaming time. It sounds funny, but it works. Set aside a few minutes each day to just let your mind wander. This could be during a walk, a break, or even while sipping your coffee. The key is to give your brain the freedom to roam without forcing it into tasks. If you're finding this information valuable, hit that subscribe button to keep the creativity flowing. Chapter 4. Escape the busy trap. Let's face it, our culture glorifies being busy. But is being busy really helping us? The truth is, constant busyness can actually stifle creativity. When your schedule is packed, there's no time to let your mind wander or explore new ideas. A 2019 study by Gallup found that 55% of Americans feel stressed a lot of the day. That stress leaves little room for creativity to flourish. Being busy makes us feel productive, but it often just leads to burnout. Author and creativity expert Todd Henry explains in his book, The Accidental Creative, that we are most creative when we create space for unplanned thoughts and ideas. When your mind is constantly focused on to-do lists and deadlines, it doesn't have the chance to generate the kinds of insights that come from relaxation. So, how do you escape the busy trap? One strategy is to practice strategic quitting. Take a close look at your schedule. What can you drop or delegate? Saying no to unnecessary tasks isn't just about freeing up time, it's about protecting your creative energy. You also need to build buffers into your day. These are short breaks or moments where you allow yourself to simply rest and recharge. The key is to stop measuring your worth by how busy you are and start valuing the quality of your output instead. Chapter 5. Single task. Supercharge creativity. In today's digital world, we're constantly bombarded with distractions. But here's a surprising fact. Single tasking, or focusing on one thing at a time, can boost creativity and productivity by up to 500%. This statistic comes from a study on deep work by Cal Newport, author of the book Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. When you single task, you give your brain the chance to engage deeply with one problem or idea. This leads to what scientists call cognitive immersion, where your mind can explore new connections and insights. It's also much easier to enter a state of flow, where your best creative thinking happens. According to Newport, deep work is the superpower of the 21st century, and it's something few people do because we're all so used to multitasking. To embrace single tasking, try the Pomodoro technique. This method involves working on just one task for 25 minutes, then taking a 5-minute break. It trains your brain to focus deeply without distractions. You'll be surprised at how much more creative and productive you become when you stop trying to do everything at once. Chapter 6. The art of boredom. You probably think of boredom as something to avoid, right? But in reality, boredom can be the secret ingredient to creativity. When we're bored, our minds start searching for stimulation, and that's when we often come up with our best ideas. Research from the University of Central Lancashire found that people who engaged in boring tasks, like copying phone numbers, were more creative afterward compared to those who didn't. Why does this happen? Boredom gives your brain time to rest, reflect, and recharge. When you're not busy with external distractions, your mind turns inward, leading to new thoughts and connections. Philosopher Bertrand Russell even said, "Boredom is a vital problem for the moralist, since half the sins of mankind are caused by the fear of it." So, how do you make boredom work for you? Start by building intentional boredom into your day. That might mean stepping away from your phone during lunch or spending a few minutes sitting in silence. The goal isn't to force yourself into boredom but to allow your mind to experience moments of stillness. These moments of nothingness often lead to breakthroughs in creativity, as your brain gets the space it needs to wander freely. If you've enjoyed these insights, don't forget to subscribe. Join our community for more tips on nurturing your creativity and living a more balanced life.